The suspects identified in a fatal hit and run. The man police are now searching for.
Plus, a call to action from an Illinois nonprofit. What Cub is saying about proposed rate hikes from NICOR.
And a kickoff to an annual literacy program, the benefits students and volunteers get from Rockford Reads.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. We welcome you in tonight.
Tonight at 5, police are searching for a suspect accused in a deadly hit and run back in January.
Authorities say the 19-year-old took off after killing 32-year-old Martavion Howard. Jaquan Vayon Johnson is charged with failure to report an accident involving death. Police found Howard on the Auburn Street Bridge on January 17th. He was taken to a hospital where he later died. Now, authorities identified Johnson as a suspect just today. He's accused of hitting Howard with his car and then leaving the scene. If you know where Jaquavion Johnson is and have that information, contact Rockford Police.
The man who admitted to a shooting at Onyx Bar and Grill in McChesney Park learns his fate in court. 33-year-old Jimmy Rogers is sentenced to 10 years in prison. Rogers pleaded guilty to aggravated discharge of a firearm in August to avoid attempted murder charges. In February of 2023, police responded to the bar on 173 for a shooting. Officials say Rogers was thrown out of Onyx earlier that night by security before returning with a gun. 4 people were shot. They all survived. Another man, Derek Graham, was arrested in 2023 in connection with that shooting. He was convicted in July and sentenced to 16 years in prison.
Tonight, police are searching for a second suspect also accused in the stabbing death of a man under the Whitman Street Bridge. 24-year-old Sean Bunton Jr. is charged with first-degree murder and obstruction of justice, as is 20-year-old Veronia Parsons. Police arrested her late last night, but Bunton is not in custody yet. Officers responded to a noise complaint beneath the Whitman Bridge Tuesday around 3:30 in the morning. There, they say they found the body of 37-year-old Kyle Stevens with stab wounds. Investigators have identified Parsons and Bunton as suspects in the murder. Anyone with information on Bunton's whereabouts can contact police.
A memorial is set for a Sycamore couple killed in their home. A public visitation for Gary and Holly Schmidt will be tomorrow from 3 to 8 at St. John Lutheran Church in Sycamore. A GoFundMe for the families raised nearly $80,000. On September 30th, DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies were called to a home on Oakland Drive for a welfare check. They found the two dead inside. The couple's son, 35-year-old Kevin Schmidt, was arrested in Rockford. He's charged with first-degree murder and is being held in the DeKalb County Jail.
Tonight, we're working to learn more about a crash that sent 2 people to the hospital today. Around 12:30, crews were called to East Riverside and East Drive. Take a look. 2 cars were involved, and you can see one, the white car, ended up flipped on its side. An officer on the scene told us at least 2 people were transported to a local hospital, but no update as of yet on their condition. And in Pecatonica, westbound traffic was blocked following a crash on US 20 near Berlin Road. It happened around 8 this morning. 2 cars were involved there. A truck ended up in a field off the road. Pecatonica Fire Protection District and the Winnebago County Sheriff both were on the scene. Traffic obviously has since reopened, but no word yet on if there were any injuries.
A consumer watchdog group is issuing a warning about proposed hikes to your gas bill. The Citizens Utility Board, or CUB, says NICOR Gas is requesting a $314 million rate hike. That would be the largest gas rate hike in Illinois history. The Illinois Commerce Commission's calling for the rate hike to be slashed by 1/3, but CUB says consumers deserve better.
At a time when consumers are plagued with crippling increases in energy costs, from big heating bills to the spiraling electricity prices that jolted them this summer, they're depending on state regulators to cut this rate hike to the maximum extent the law permits. We urge regulators to build upon the recommendations in this proposed order and institute additional cuts consumers are due.
The ICC is expected to make a final decision on the rate hike request sometime next month.
The head of a state-line school district announcing he is stepping down. Beloit Superintendent Dr. Willie Garrison II is resigning. The district says his last day is December 31st. Garrison has been in the role since 2022. In a statement, Dr. Garrison said, in part, "I am proud of what we have accomplished together over the past 3 years, particularly the achievement of our students." Board of Education President Tia Johnson thanked Dr. Garrison for his time with the district and wished him well as he takes his next step in his future career opportunities. The process to find Dr. Garrison's successor will begin in the coming weeks.
Connecting with young students in RPS 205, Rockford Reads held a kickoff event at Constance Lane Elementary School this morning. The program's a partnership between Rockford Rotary and the Rockford Public Library. The goal is to strengthen reading levels for second and third grade students by pairing them up with a volunteer to read with them every week. According to organizers, the experience is rewarding for kids and volunteers.
Because of the relationships that form between the volunteer and the students throughout the course of the year. Our volunteers go in and read with the same 2 or 3 students all year long, 1 hour a week, once a week, and so as you can imagine, those relationships just develop in a really positive way.
This is the 24th year for Rockford Reads. It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and Eyewitness News has been gathering stories celebrating Hispanic culture across the state line.
So join us Friday for our Hispanic Heritage Month special. It will air over on our sister station, Fox 39, at 4:30 p.m. A man who received his degree from the University of Illinois has been awarded a Nobel Prize.
When we come back, the chemistry breakthrough that he's being honored for.
And coming up tonight at 6, a reaction from a Chicago 5th grader after having a unique face-to-face interaction with Pope Leo.
Lots of sunshine out there today, warmed our temperatures right where we should be for the 8th of October, up to 66 degrees. Now, numbers will continue to climb heading into the weekend, but we've got a few more clouds and even a couple of showers to time out. So look at that with Futurecast coming up a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Sports Director Scott Lever, and Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
A scientist who received his PhD in chemistry here in Illinois won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry today.
The University of Illinois graduate won alongside 2 other scientists for their research. Omar Yaghi and the others were recognized for their development of metal organic frameworks that could eventually help reduce pollution and combat climate change. The chemists worked separately but added to each other's breakthroughs, which began in 1989.
It was absolutely thrilling. You cannot prepare for a moment like that. So I was just surprised and delighted by the news.
Yagi is now affiliated with the University of California, Berkeley. The award ceremony will be held December 10th, the anniversary of the death of Alfred Nobel, who founded the prizes.
We're approaching the end of daylight saving time next month. It means we'll fall back and we'll have to readjust our sleep schedules. The Cleveland Clinic, though, is asking tonight, does your sleeping position impact your quality of sleep? Experts say, generally speaking, there is no sleeping position that's considered better than another. However, sleeping on your stomach can be uncomfortable for some. And while most of us tend to sleep in the same position every night, it's natural to move around.
For some people, sleeping position doesn't matter, but there's a few really critical components to this. One is that, of course, in the sleep center, we see many people with snoring who may have sleep apnea. And obstructive sleep apnea is a very highly prevalent disorder. Probably 25% of men and 10% plus of women, increasing with age. And so generally people with obstructive sleep apnea are advised to avoid sleeping on their back.
She also says people with a deviated septum or who perhaps have nasal congestion may prefer to sleep on their side.
The Rock River Valley Blood Center is partnering with a local dispensary once again for a donation drive. The center will hold its Fall Bleed for Weed Monday. For the second year, they're holding the event with Life Dispensary. It will be held at the Roscoe Community Center on Hononegah Road. It'll run from noon to 6 Monday. All eligible blood donors will be given a voucher for a free product from the dispensary. All donors will also get a T-shirt. Appointments are encouraged, but walk-ins are also welcome. Well, it remains fall-like, kind of a little bit chilly out there.
And when we come back, Candace is going to tell us about our frost chances later tonight. Her full forecast is coming up in just a few minutes.
Now, Your first warned weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
Well, you got nothing but blue sky out there late this afternoon and evening, and that'll mean a mostly clear sky as we go through the night tonight. We look live with our SkyTrack camera here out at the Poplar Grove Airport. We've had just a few clouds out to the east, actually coming in off of Lake Michigan here this evening. Some of those lake effect clouds moving through, but skies will continue to stay clear, which will allow our temperatures as the sun sets tonight to drop down rather quickly. I think our numbers will fall in some locations down into the upper 30s. 64 our temperature in Rockford, Freeport, 63 right now in Janesville, 65 in Rochelle, and 67 that current temperature down in Sterling. High pressure sitting up to our north and northeast here late this afternoon and evening, keeping us nice and high and dry as we go throughout the rest of this evening. In fact, that high pressure system bringing in some cooler air where we find frost advisories up to the north in Wisconsin and then out to our southeast in Indiana, and then freeze headlines a little bit further to our east out in Michigan. Nothing for us, so you don't have to worry about that, but I do think there may be some areas that see a little patchy frost as we head through the night tonight. That is a possibility. Now, on average, our first freeze, which is 32 degrees, usually occurs right around the 13th of October, so that's our first fall freeze. Last year, that was back on the 16th, the year before that on the 10th, and then back in 2022, it was on October 8th. Tonight, that temperature will drop down to 39 degrees underneath a mostly clear sky. And again, some patchy frost can't completely be ruled out. We're up to 67 for tomorrow afternoon underneath a mostly sunny sky. That wind will stay light from the southeast. As we go through time, notice we are nice and quiet over the course of the next couple of days. Similar to today, we'll see sunny skies. Temperatures just a few degrees warmer than where we sat here this afternoon. As we go through Thursday night into Friday, there's an area of low pressure that'll be passing up to our north. That'll draw a cold front closer to us. This front doesn't have a lot of moisture associated with it, but there's just enough that will allow a little more cloud cover to move in, along with a few light showers that can't completely be ruled out, at least during the first half of our Friday. Winds will remain from the west and southwest through Friday afternoon, so that is a warming wind, which will bring that temperature again back into at least the low 70s for us. But that low pressure system tightens up here across the Great Lakes, which could cause our wind to increase during the day on Friday and going into Friday evening as temperatures briefly drop with a little more cloud cover there for Saturday afternoon. So 39 for tonight, 67 for tomorrow. We're at 70 on Friday. We'll maintain those 70s heading into next week. We've got another system that draws up some warmer air early next week. Another area of low pressure, so that'll give us a chance for a few showers there as we head Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Right now, doesn't look like it'll be anything too significant, but something to watch out for as overnight lows will stay in the 50s.
Thank you, Candace.
Scott's next with sports.
The Packers will get a chance Sunday to get revenge on a quarterback who just recently beat them.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Caleb Williams will always be compared to Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels since they were both taken in the first round of the same draft. Well, Monday night, the two will be under the microscope in front of a national audience when they play on Monday Night Football. Williams went first overall in the draft last year. Daniels went second. Daniels had the far better rookie season. He came within one game in the Super Bowl. Now for Williams, there's also the added pressure Monday night of trying to win back in his home state. He is from the Washington, D.C. area.
So when you do get to go back home and play in front of a crowd and play in front of a crowd that many fans were whether it's high school or little leagues or anything like that have watched me growing up, you want to be able to win those games.
Well, the Bengals have named newly acquired Joe Flacco their starting quarterback for this week, and that's big news for the Packers because they will face the Bengals Sunday. Flacco just beat the Packers a couple weeks ago with the Browns, although it was primarily the Browns' defense that won that game. And the Packers are a little stunned to know they'll be seeing Flacco again so soon. Matt LaFleur doesn't think Flacco will have any trouble stepping right in and leading the Bengals offense.
I would say that Joe Flacco's been playing this game for a really long time, and he's been in a lot of different systems, so I would bet that he would have no problems picking it up, even in a short period of time. I think the hardest thing for them is going to be just the nuances with your cadence, your snap count, the rapport you have with the other players. Now he's pretty fortunate. He's got some good guys to certainly throw to.
Well, the Cubs scored 4 runs in the first inning. And right now it is 4-1 in the third against Quentin Priester. They knocked him out in the first. Michael Busch homered and PCA drove in 2 runs with a single. Tigers hammered the Mariners 9-3. That series is now tied at 2 with Game 5 set for tomorrow. Well, you still have time to vote in our latest Athlete of the Week contest. Athlete of the Week is brought to you by McCloskey, Kessler, and Associates. 4 more great finalists this week. They are Boylan running back Alex Hernandez, Auburn receiver Gavin Sanders, Eastland Pearl City running back Draven Zier, and Byron fullback linebacker Caden Considine. Read about their achievements at mystateline.com and then place your vote there. I'll announce the winner Friday night on Overtime. That's sports. We'll be right back.
Coming back from the brink of extinction, packs of southern right whales, right as in left and right, are delighting the tourists off the coast of Argentina. Large-scale fishing in the last century decimated the species from around 100,000 to only about 600.
Now conservation efforts have helped the whales slowly increase their numbers to almost 5,000. Tourists have flocked to this peninsula in Argentina to catch a glimpse of their acrobatics. This year, more than 2,000 whales have been spotted. They are so amazing, aren't they?
Majestic, aren't they?
They really
Just
are.
beautiful.
And the fact that they were able to bring them back and bring the population up, that's awesome.
That is beautiful.
That's great.
Very nice. It was a beautiful day here, too.
It was. It was a nice day. Yeah, nice and comfortable out there this afternoon. A little chilly this morning. And
felt like fall.
It did. It felt like fall. It didn't feel like summer like what we had over the weekend. We're back down into the upper 30s, I think, again tonight. The First Warning Interactive Radar brought to us by Rockford Glass and More. That stays pretty quiet. We might see a couple of very light showers come in on Friday. Temperatures in the 60s and then warming back in the 70s next week.
Thank you, Candace.
And thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.